Oh, look at that. It's a nice little dry meadow. You could tell it was at one point wet. It probably as the snow was melting, but now here in mid-July, it's all dried up. But there's still a lot of interesting shit going on, like this, what you call vinegar weed. This is in the genus Trichostoma, and this is probably Trichostoma oblongum. Now, that Trichostoma is in Lamiaceae, the salvia and the oregano family, and the whole genus. It's got some really showy bastards in it, like, 2, 3, 4 feet tall, big blue, zygomorphic salvia family flowers. But this little shit is small. He's, topping out at 3 or 4 feet. But the interesting thing about these, they call them vinegar weed for a reason, is because, like a lot of stuff in that family, they've got a lot of terpenes. You can see all those hairs and glands. They got a lot of terpenes and hairs. That, I know what it was before I could even see it. Before I could, just when I stepped down and I stepped on some of them and I could smell the terpenes being released in the air, from 3 or 4 feet away, I know what it is. And sure enough, I get up close and it's a Trichostoma. Like I said, Trichostoma oblongum. Here's a species of Erigeran. Kind of a pain in the ass. They call it, the common name for these is fleabanes. I don't know why. Don't really give a shit either, so don't feel the need to comment and let me know. But Erigeran is a genus in Asteraceae. It's got a lot of species in it. Some are pretty interesting. Some are just kind of meh. But regardless, it's nice to know what the shit everything is that you're looking at. And you can see that Erigeran is doing very well here. Here in the volcanic legacy in the high-altitude coniferous forest. Oh shit, here's a nice one. Camabody area millefolium, aka the fern bush, but it's not a fern. It's just got foliage that kind of looks like ferns. It's actually in the rose family, as you can tell by those flowers right there. Good old rose family flowers. Check it out, nice. Bunch of stamens, 5 distinct petals. There's another plant called Camabacha that's, I think it's Camabacha. They call it mountain misery. I don't know, but you could see. Anyway, look at this. You see why they call it the volcanic legacy? Just all recent lava flows. And this is interesting because it's basaltic magma. And not always, but generally speaking, when you get black rocks like this, it looks like the shit that they put in the landscaping in a McDonald's in Oak Park, Illinois. It's generally that kind of scoria, pumice rock shit. If it's dark, it's generally basaltic. It's mafic. It's got a lot of iron in it, as opposed to being felsic with high amounts of silica, etc. So remember what I was saying earlier, basaltic magma flows pretty good, and then as it cools, it breaks up. That's why you get all these chunks. Nice Cercocarpus ledifolius, another rose family, aka the mountain mahogany. Look at those feathery achenes. Saw a real nice sunset last night with those, the sun was going through them. Look kind of pretty, made me feel a little bit better about being alive in the year 2019, because everything's kind of a fucking mess right now. What the shit is this? There's a piece of trash. Anyway, oh, look at that. Is that a streptanthus? It appears to be a streptanthus. Look at that. Brassicaceae with those perfoliate leaves. Hey, how about that? Oh, there you go. There's a nice display of that Cercocarpus, that mountain mahogany. This is a great fucking plant. A small tree member of the rose family that can live for upwards of 1,000 years. They call it mountain mahogany because the wood's hard as hell since it grows so slow. Those are the feathery achenes. Hard to believe it's related to roses. Rose family's actually pretty big. It just gets, don't think of roses when you think of it. It's actually a very diverse family. There's a lot more in it than just that. So what I was saying before about that, the rock type is, if you're talking about extrusive igneous rocks, just basically rocks that have a small phenocryst size. That is, they got a crystal structure. It's, you could see it a little bit there, but it's very small. The phenocryst is just the shimmery bullshit. The crystal's very small here. And, if it's a dark color, you could generally assume it's a more on the mafic side of things, And then if it's a lighter color, you generally assume it's on the more silica-rich side of things, the more felsic side of things. So you got felsic and mafic, which are basically opposites of each other. Then intermediate, you got intermediate silica composition, and that would be something like andesite, which is more like a pink color. So you got rhyolite, andesite, and then getting even more mafic, you got basalt, and then super mafic, gabbro. Actually, I guess gabbro is just the intrusive equivalent of basalt. I'm fucking you up here. Just focus on rhyolite, andesite, basalt. And then, of course, if something cools so fast that it's got no crystal structure, you got pure volcanic glass, aka obsidian, which I'm going to show you up here in a minute. Look at how this whole thing just cooled like that and then slowly broke off. Hard to imagine this whole thing being liquid, huh? It was, you know, 9 or 10,000 years ago whenever this went off. Maybe a little bit. So anyway, there's more of that nice volcanic legacy shit right there. There's a big Chalcedrus, the Kerns, and incense cedar. We're about 4,600 feet up right now. And you can see this unevenness of this terrain. Nobody did this. This is just, when the lava cooled, you got to remember this was all liquid. I don't know how old, I got to look. Probably more than 10,000. It's been here long enough for shit to be growing on it, but it's not heavily forested. And this hasn't broken down that much yet. So there's still no soil, but it's got to be, you know, 10,000 years old, a couple thousand years old at least. But all this, the unevenness of the terrain is just caused by the fact that this was liquid magma moving. It's, you know, basically a mafic liquid magma flowing and then cooled. And, you know, it still kept the outside cooled first, but it still kept flowing beneath. And as it did that, you know, as it kept flowing beneath, it was hollow inside. Basically, you get the lava tube, the lava cave thing going on. And as it hollowed out inside, then the ceiling collapsed on the cave. So basically what you're seeing is this collapsed ceiling. That's why it's all uneven and bumpy and shit. And just, it looks, I mean, it's a pretty goddamn wild landscape, you know? I mean, it's, you show someone this, they don't really understand volcanism or how, what happened here. It's hard to picture, you know? But basically this whole area was volcanic. And again, that's because there was a subduction zone to the west. Okay, there's an oceanic plate diving beneath the continental plate, and as it descends further inland, you get magma rising to the surface, and you get volcanism, whether it's big volcanoes like Mount Shasta or Mount Lassen, or a bunch of little pimply cinder cones that look like bad acne on a topographic map. Okay, so just in case you thought I was bullshitting when I was telling you that the under parts of this were all flowing, it was flowing underground and it cooled on top there. I mean, that goes in about 12 feet right there, maybe a little bit more, maybe 20 feet. You know, it's basically just collapsed lava cave. Oh, look, it's Connectus douglasii. Asteraceae. Fuck, I love Connectus. What a wonderful genus. So, I mean, again, this is all Holocene. This is all very recent volcanic flows going on here. I mean, and it's pretty crazy. Just, you get what I'm doing? I'm trying to just really run home the idea that this landscape is fucking wild. I mean, look, you just have a look. You can see how it's liquid right there. Okay, it almost looks like that pahoho. Pahoho, as they call it in. Oh, look, there's a little bridge, natural bridge. The pahoho is what they call the basaltic lava in Hawaii. But this obviously ain't Hawaii. We're almost 5,000 feet up in a coniferous forest in Northern California. I mean, look at it. You could really see. It's pretty incredible. Volcanic legacy. Holy shit. So all this was flowing. It was all liquid, and it was fucking probably 2,000 degrees, if not more. I don't know. What temperature does this basalt turn into a liquid at? And you can see, I mean, there's barely soil here. It's that new. It's that much of a new section of the Earth's crust. You got the Chalcedrus are happy though, because they do. There's a lot of snow here and a lot of rain in the winter. It just goes down. It's like a 8-foot drop. You can't see it because the camera's. There's that fern bush, the Camabody area. Camabody area sounds like a nice dish at one of those Italian restaurants that my dad's sketchy mafia cousin used to go to on the west side over there in the near west suburbs. Not a lot growing. Okay, I figured I'd take you for a little tour down here. You know, some of these lava tubes. Look at that. You can see it's still fluid. Some of these lava tubes, you know, go down deep. They still have ice in them. Look at that. You can see the liquid. I mean, if you need any more hints that this was all at one point liquid rock. I mean, you can see it dripping off the ceiling there. But it cooled before it could completely fall off. Oh, yeah, it's pretty chilly down here. Oh, it actually goes... Yeah, there you go. It's nice. And the temperature drops about 30 degrees. It's like 95 on the surface. It's 65 down here. And then it comes up again. So, again, what you had going on was just everything was flowing. There's some nice little algae growing on the walls right there. How about that? Anyway, here's a real nice example of a much bigger and more formidable lava cave. And this one actually has ice in it. At least it did a few years ago when I was here. Probably still does. Oh yeah, it does. I can see it right now. See that down there? That's all ice. But it's nice. It's got kind of this musky smell, like, you know, a winter in like a dingy basement in Brooklyn or something, or if I can get down there without breaking my ass. You know, normally you're supposed to bring a light, but I didn't do that. Oh, shit's still dripping. So it's dropped about 40 degrees from the surface, and you can see down here, oh, you got a lot of nice shit growing. Got the cyanobacterial and moss colonies. Lichens and shit. Anyway, there you go. That is all ice. You can see it very clearly. And that's basically ice that never melts. Because the temperature down here never gets higher than about, shit, I don't know, what, 50 degrees at most? Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, it's kind of creepy down there. Can't see any more of that. It's got a nice, beautiful luster to it, though, doesn't it? Anyway, there you go. Volcanic Legacy Ice Caves. Got a lot of nice lichens and moss. Oh, hi, Jack. Now, admittedly, I don't know my mosses too well, probably because they're uncharismatic as a trip to the DMV, but you can see they're thriving in these low light conditions, deep within this lava tube. It just looks like a hairy green wall. How about that? All right, here's an interesting one. Now, I've never seen this plant before in my life. Maybe I have, but it was before I got into angiosperms pretty heavily, probably 10 years ago, back when I was mostly doing trees and conifers. But I can already tell it's in the Apocynaceae. Look at those fruits. They're what you call follicles, just like milkweeds. And then you come over here and you look at the flowers, and you got basically five fused petals. Tubular parent, you know, oleander, the shitty freeway flower oleander's in the same family, Apocynaceae, and it almost looks like an oleander flower. I don't want to say it. Don't let them hear me say it. You get offended. But look at that. Opposite leaves. Tomentose as hell. Very fuzzy. Gonna have to figure this out in a minute. I'll have it up there on the words for you and shit by the time you watch the video. It's a very charming landscape, you know, even though it's entirely black and probably causes it to be, you know, upwards of 130 degrees in the sun on a nice, warm, sunny day. Look at this nice aster, too. It's a species of Asteraceae, and it's just, I mean, look at the fucking hairs on that. Everything about this just says, I'm adapted to growing in a very inhospitable and shitty, hot and shitty environment. Then, of course, you got Connectus Douglasii, another Asteraceae, no ray flowers, solely discoid, prominent goddamn style sticking out for all the world to see, letting it all hang out, almost obscene. Sulfur buckwheats, some nice castellea, paintbrush and shit. Nice sulfur buckwheat there. And who knows, you know, last 50,000 years this is? Who knows how old? Oh, Caleb Tritium. Montiaceae. How about that?